All right, hello guys, this is Erika Buenrostro, and we are going to be describing yourself to others this week for task 9. We are going to review the vocabulary first before we actually go into everything else. You can also access this by going to your task. When you click on this task 9, you should know by now that that's where this will take you. So let's look at the vocabulary for this week. We're going to talk about agradable, which is enjoyable, pleasant. Amigable, which is friendly. Bigote is mustache. Cariñoso is kind. Delgado, thin. Estatura media, medium height. Estrategia, strategy. Faltar, to be missing. Generoso, generous. Hablador, talkative. Ingeniero agrónomo, agronomic engineer. Nacer is to be born. Patient is paciente. Tez blanca is fair complexion. Tímido is timid and shy. So these are your vocabulary words for test 9. Make sure you do review them. Create your own vocabulary dictionary, I should say. And that way you can write them and practice in that way. Let's look at some of the grammar that's also involved as part of task 9. We're going to talk about the special meaning of the verb tener. The verb tener is used in several phrases that do not translate directly into English. So if you look for this translation, you're not going to find it directly. These are related to physical needs that a person may have. For example, in English we may say, I am hungry, or I am thirsty, or I am cold, or I am tired, or I am afraid. You get the point. In Spanish, however, each of these sentences is made with the verb tener. Notice that this means that each of the phrases is spoken with nouns in Spanish. I have hunger, I have thirst, etc. So if you want to say I am hungry, you would say yo tengo hambre. If you're talking about, that's you, so you would say tengo. If you're talking about somebody else, a single person, in this case you're talking about Juan, you're going to say Juan tiene sed. If you want to talk about you and a group of people, you're going to say tenemos, which would mean nosotros tenemos frío, which means we are cold. If you're talking about Marcos, just like you did Juan, just one single person, you're going to say tiene. So if you're talking about him being sleepy, you're going to say Marcos tiene sueño. If you're talking about a group of people, that when you're using the word they, you would say ellos tienen. Okay. When you're talking, once again, like you did Juan and like you did Marcos, but yet you want to say that they are hot, you're going to say José tiene calor. If you want to talk about Ana, Ana is in a hurry, you're going to say Ana tiene prisa. Susana tiene razón. And that should be Susana is in a hurry. Susana tiene prisa, just like this one. One thing to note here, just to remember, when you're talking about yourself, you use tengo. When you talk about another person, single person, you use tiene. When you talk about you and a group of people, you use tenemos. Once again, here, we're seeing one single person, that's just one person, so you're going to say tiene. If you're talking about they, tienen, when you use they, okay, one person tiene, one person tiene, and one person is tiene. So just one thing to remember, I would actually write that down. That way you can also remember it in that way. All right, so now let's talk about the videos. We're going to actually look at a couple of videos where we see the following descriptions. We're going to look at Jose. He's actually from Mexico City, and he's going to describe, you're going to notice and pick up on, he's got a sense of humor, and let's see what he has to say.
Mido 1,75, soy pelón, tengo barba, bastante velludo, soy de piel clara, un poquito panzoncito, soy muy simpático. Ellas dicen que soy feo, pero no es cierto. Es todo.
Okay, so this is Jose. He's actually from Mexico City, and he's telling us how tall he is. And when he describes it, he says, mido 1.75, which he's saying 1.75. Soy pelón, I am bald. Tengo barba, I've got a beard. Bastante velludo, which means he's got a lot of hairs on his arms. Soy de piel clara, which means he is of light skinned. Un poquito panzoncito, it means a little chubby. Okay, soy muy simpático, it means he's very funny. ellas dicen, he's talking about the girls that are with him, evidently looking at him at the time that he made this video. He says, ellas dicen, they say, que soy feo, that I'm ugly, pero no es cierto, but that is not true. And then he says, that is all. So there's several vocabulary here that you should have picked up, several descriptions of himself. And now let's look, let me see if I can find, let's go to Lima, which is a different part of the country. I want you to listen to their accent as it changes. Accent varies depending on what part of Latin America you're talking about. And here we go.
Soy Alberto Vargas, tengo 40 años, mido 1,77 m, soy de tez blanca, ojos claros, cabello castaño, agradable creo. Soy de Lima, toda mi vida la he vivido acá y estoy contento de estar
Okay,
ser
so he's
peruano.
from Lima, Peru, so he will have a different accent. I wish I could actually imitate it. I love to imitate different accents. I find them very unique. But he says, soy Alberto Vargas. He says, I'm Alberto Vargas y tengo 40 años and I am 40 years old. Mido 1,70 m. He talked about how tall he is. 1.70. Is 1.77. Soy de tez blanca, I'm light skinned. Ojos claros, light colored eyes. Cabello castaño, brown hair. Agradable creo. He says, I believe I'm enjoyable. Soy de Lima, I'm from Lima. Toda mi vida, all my life, he vivido acá, have lived here, y estoy contento de ser peruano, and I'm happy to be peruano. I'm going to play it one more time because I want you to pick up on the different accent. When I say it, I say, soy Alberto Vargas y tengo 40 años, mido 1,77 m, soy de tez blanca, ojos claros, cabello castaño, agradable creo, soy de Lima. Toda mi vida he vivido acá y estoy contento de ser peruano. Listen to his accent.
Soy Alberto Vargas, tengo 40 años, mido 1,77 m, soy de tez blanca, ojos claros, cabello castaño, agradable creo. Soy de Lima, toda mi vida la he vivido acá y estoy contento de
I
estar
hope
ser
you were
peruano.
able to pick up on the different accent. We've got somebody from Chihuahua here. I'm going to show you this video because I want you to hear the different accents. This is actually a part of Mexico, but even within Mexico, you've got different accents.
Mi nombre es José Antonio González, tengo 24 años, estudio aquí en el Tecnológico de Monterrey, soy de Ciudad Delicias, Chihuahua. Estoy estudiando ingeniero agrónomo producción, me falta un semestre y pues aquí vivo ahorita solo para la que quiera venir a
Okay, he's got a sense of humor to himself too. He says, my name is Jose G. Tengo 24 años. I'm 24 years old. Estudio aquí en el Tecnológico de Monterrey. Tecnológico, that's another way of saying university. I study here at the University of Monterrey. Soy de Ciudad Delicias, Chihuahua. He's from Chihuahua Delicias. Estoy estudiando ingeniero. I'm actually studying engineering in production. Falta un semestre. He lacks one semester. Y pues aquí vivo. And well, this is where I live. Vivo ahorita solo. I live by myself. And listen to this. He even says, para la que quiera venir a vivir conmigo. So that in case any girl wants to come live with me. For anybody that wants to come live with me. So he's got a sense of humor to himself too. And these are some of the videos that I want you to actually go and review for yourself. Once you have done that, we also have, and I know you've noticed this probably since day one. I don't push the podcast because it requires special equipment for that. If your computer is set up for it, that is perfectly fine. If it's not, I am so sorry. One thing that we did not cover was the phrases. And those are, if I'm saying I'm going bald, you would say me estoy quedando pelón. I'm short, soy bajito. I'm 1.20 meters tall. Mido 1,20 m. I am very punctual would be soy muy puntual. I always arrive on time everywhere. Basically says siempre llego a tiempo a todas partes. I like to dance and read a lot. Me gusta bailar y leer mucho. I am interested in arts and travels. Me interesan las artes y los viajes. She is very organized. Ella es muy ordenada. You can trust him. He's very reliable. Puedes confiar en él. Es muy cumplidor. What I want you to do for this, as practice exercises, I want to assign these. I want you to go over these in Spanish. I want you to review those in Spanish. I want you to read out loud in Spanish. And so I'm going to do it one more time for you, and then I want you to pause it. I'm going to pause for a little bit after each sentence, so that you can actually, it'll give you the opportunity to pause and repeat after me and then play and so forth. So here we go. Me estoy quedando pelón. Soy bajito, mido 1,20 m. Soy muy puntual, siempre llego a tiempo a todas partes. Me gusta bailar y leer mucho. Me interesan las artes y los viajes. Ella es muy ordenada. Te puedes confiar, and it should be tú puedes confiar en él. Es muy cumplidor. So pause this video as many times as needed. These are going to be your practice exercises for this week. Make sure and don't forget to talk about anything that was brought up to your attention that you didn't know, something that you learned. Just something, I want to hear from you in the Blackboard discussions. Also, to give full credit, don't forget you must also respond to one of your peers' comments, okay? And we want engaging conversations. This is the way that you guys are also learning and picking up on all these grammar, phrases, and etc. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. This was video task 9.